for Father Clunker. He's handing them out. So you want a meeting agenda to see where we're at on this big program tonight. You can sit wherever you want. Welcome everybody to the 2015 I bet you know how to control order better than I do. Coming from, yeah, I hear it. Cell phone off the podium, not a good idea. Welcome to the 2015 Cuyuna Lakes Mountain Bike Crew, Cuyuna Lakes Mountain Bike Trails annual meeting. It's pretty good attendance. I think we should give ourselves a round of applause for showing up for this. It's very cool. On behalf of the trails we have here, and to come to order, I first need to do and that's to get our board's approval on the 20 meeting minute. Your hands for a while now. Do I have a motion for approval of those meeting minutes? We have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a second with Father Clunker. Any more discussion? None heard. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Meeting minutes approved. The next motion I need to make is an approval of this review by the board. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda in front of us, board?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Meredith makes the first motion. Do I have a second? We have 2 seconds. That's how excited they should be. Any discussion? None heard. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Agenda passes. So I in the making. Come on. No, it's not. It's only 2 hours. It'll be exciting, I tell you. But it's been 3 years in the making. Ever since the trails first opened, it was right after the first season. We reconvened and had a regroup meeting. And right away, the crew was like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And a lot about relationship in those 3 years. And we always need to thank the DNR for allowing us to see how they work too. And before we even get into this, I want to thank the state and everyone employed by the state for everything they're doing. For a round of applause too. So I got to flip forward a little bit. I'm a little bit behind. So Ron and Leanne, you were greeted by them. They might us. It is up there. Liz took some photos in there. Ron and Leanne took photos. One way to get a recap on the year and the excitement that we have on the trails. So we're just going to play it for you. I hope we have sound, but I can't guarantee you anything. We do have sound. You can feel free to cheer if you see yourself. You can make a noise, it's okay. That was me.
Tell me your secrets, I'll keep them close to my heart. If they're high, could take us apart. I gave you my don't care where we go. There's no place I'm here with you.
Work there. Special note, this is the first annual meeting we've had that is actually being, so you didn't have to come, but I'm glad you did. Joshua Rebenak is I call him the brains of the operation. He has figured that out, so it's streaming online. We hope to do that with our monthly meetings coming up, so that if you want to watch it from your home, you can, so that we can use the technology we have to make the most of it. I'm extremely proud of that video because of especially the end where it said 100% volunteers. And that all the people doing the work aren't taking payment for this. They're doing it out of a love affair with Cuyuna. It was in the slide. It said Cuyuna isn't just a place. And we're happy to love Cuyuna, and we're happy you guys do too. And that's what this is all about tonight, celebrating Cuyuna and where we can go from here, because there's no limit to how far this can go. With camaraderie and partnerships, future us on that journey. So I have to get back to the business before we get to the master vision. And I have to announce that next month, February, we will have elections. Up for elections are the treasurer, Dan Brown, who told me he will be rerunning, even though every other time I ask, he shakes his head no. But if someone else would like to run for treasurer, you have that option, because this is America. And it's your Vice President is also up for elections. Bruce, Father Clunker Swanson, is the VP. He told me also that he would like to run again. And he smiled, so I think he still means that. People to let us know. Meredith has been our secretary for 3 years. Actually, Dan has been for 3 years too, because they've served an extra year term so that all of our, because that can be a little bit hurtful for a group. Rory was one who brought that up, so thank you for that. But Meredith has said that she will also rerun, but if someone else would like to run secretary, that she would welcome them to join the ballot. Not that she doesn't want to do it, but she also wants others to be a part of the crew board and to learn. And what we've always been about from the beginning is mentoring people up so that this group can be sustainable. Because it has to go on for years and years, because the trails are planned to go on for years and years. So if anyone is just dying to get on that ballot, please talk to me after. We'll be sure we get you on there. But that's February, and I need to make that public because that's part of being a nonprofit. So we're going to get to the 2014 reports from the crew board. The first one that's on the agenda is Katie Stumval, who's going to talk over the events.
First, I just have to say I'm really surprised. So thank you all for coming. It's really great to see everybody. And also, before we really get into anything with the events, we just have to say thanks again to the volunteers, the racers, and our partners. And without these groups of people, there's no way we could have pulled any of it off. So I think we just we have 3 different events throughout the year, or we had in 2014. The Whiteout, which is our winter fat biking event, which will be coming up again February 7th. The Mountain Bike Festival, which is hosted in the summer, and a like family social ride get together, and we don't have a race for that event. So for Whiteout this, and in the festival, we're 88 racers. And I think it's good to note that although Clunker was a social ride, there were a lot of our local riders won our big raffle item, the Surly Krampus, Mike Spencer. I don't know if he's here, but that was pretty. As far as our overall revenue generated from the events last year, for Whiteout, we earned $8,300 for the festival. The proceeds were $4,600, and Clunker was at $2,200, and that put us right around $15,000, which all of that goes right back into the trails, and all of these events, again, were run completely by volunteers. 2015 events, we're really focusing now not so much on earning our revenue from the events through the event registration, but getting everyone up to Crosby and Cuyuna and bringing more of an coming here for the free night ride we'll have for Whiteout. Get breakfast or grab some drinks somewhere, and then just putting some of that money back into the economy. And like I said, for Whiteout in 2000 racers registered total, and this year we're about a month away from the event, and as of just a few minutes ago, we already have 142 racers. And one change that we'll have for 2014 as well is we'll be hosting an October event, which is the Cuyuna 5-0. It'll be a 50-mile, 25-mile, or 12-mile race, and we were able to put two big events together on the same weekend. So have a race. So this is going to be, it's been called the Super Bowl of the mountain bike races, and we're looking forward to that for. So that's all I have for my report. And next we have Katie Seip-Deblock, the membership director. So I'll turn it right over to Katie.
Hi, everybody. This is here. This is awesome. I'm just going to talk a little bit about things that we have done this year as a crew. We put up the trail kiosks throughout the mountain bike trail system. You've probably seen them up. They're found throughout the trail system. These are signage with great graphics. They give reminders and guidelines, things like wearing a helmet, keep your pets on a leash, riders during rain, and to ride in full control at all times. They're easy to understand and just kind of guidelines for people who might not be familiar with mountain bike etiquette or the rules in Cuyuna. There's also a place on the kiosks for upcoming events, so when you're out and about, make sure to check that out. You'll see posters for the Clunker Fest and all the cool stuff that's going on. We also host something called first Saturday of every month, and you got to give us bonus points for the creative name. We set up a tent on a Saturday, and we call it tent. It's typically the first Saturday of every month. This summer we set up in the Yawkey parking lot, and this coming spring and summer we'll be setting up in the Rally Center parking lot. It's been a really good time. We hand out water and snacks, and we're just kind of there to meet people and say, hey, this is us. We're questions. We have met people from all over the country, people from Canada. It's been really neat to do that. In the future, we're hoping Saturday in the winter, so that is possibly in the works. So keep an eye out for that, and please join us. It's a lot of fun. We also do a group ride, and this past summer and fall, we did a local time ride, which is about a Sunday at 4 o'clock. We met in the craft mine, youngestly pregnant at the end of summer. So thank you to everybody that stepped in as a ride leader when I couldn't stay upright on my bike. We're always looking for new ride leaders. So if anyone's interested in that, it's a great time. Like I said, it's 4 o'clock on Sundays. We'll be meeting at the Rally Center from now on. We're always open also to suggestions on times that might work better for people. And a little bit or ride the whole time. Ride gets to pick the course and the duration. Looking always to increase, our membership growth. It's the volunteers that keep this going. So thank you again to everyone who has volunteered and continues to, and look forward to growing in the future. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor, piggyback on what the first Katie talked about, Stumble. the Cuyuna 5-0 in the high school mountain bike race. It will be the Super Bowl event of cycling in Cuyuna. Just to prepare for this, if you're a local business owner, the high school race alone will bring in 600 kids to race. So 600 kids means parents, means food, means wow, this is happening. This is for real. And Bruce, where's Bruce from NICA? Just stand up, Bruce. Bruce, superstar. Sean, stand up next to him. Sean, right there, Sean Anderson. He was the coach of the year for the high school team. These two superheroes are working on something called Camp Cuyuna. We don't have time to talk about it tonight. A camp where they'll be bringing in kids to train mountain biking, to bring in talent from coaches from sea to shining sea. They'll be bringing in the best coaches. This won't be some small town thing. This will be the best of the best in your backyard, in our backyard, in Cuyuna. To Sheila Haverkamp, to your dream of Olympic training, we're on our way. And that's very cool. That is very cool. Let's be proud of
Hi, I'm Meredith Novak. I'm the secretary, but as my job is rather boring and hiding behind a computer screen, I'm here to talk about something else that I have also taken on. DNR and the Cuyuna Lakes Mountain Bike Crew partnered together to add another program to their I Can series, and this was called I Can Mountain Bike. And the first ever program was held right here in Cuyuna last summer. It was a very successful program. We had people everywhere from the ages of 10 to 65 come and participate, including from the cities all the way to Hibbing. Some had never ridden single track ever in their lives. Most of those were parents or grandparents who wanted to get their kids some instruction on how to ride single track. Some of the other draws for people without experience were they had a friend or a significant other that was a mountain biker and they wanted to get up to speed so that they could. The participants learned safety skills and some trail etiquette. They also learned basic maintenance for breakdowns on trail, and just some basic riding skills, and then took them out for a group ride. When they came back, there was nothing but smiles on their faces. We received $1,000 for this partnership, and for next year in 2020, of doing 3 different programs. It would be one a month, June through August. This hasn't been a decision yet, but we're discussing it because we'd like to do this. I would like to say thank you to Eric Pelto from the DNR, who's in the back somewhere. Eric, if you want to stand up and wave. And Casey Carlson, who worked very hard with us to make this happen. They also did all of the outreach and all of the registrations. This Psychopath Paddle, they donated all of our bikes and all of our helmets because without them this would not have been possible.
Joel Hartman, who is our Director of Trails Maintenance. Come on up, Joel. Which means Joel is the guy over the top of the whole thing. All that red dirt. He's our top guy.
Not that important, but well, thank you everyone for coming here tonight. It's awesome to see a lot of people. I'm kind of nervous, so thanks for everyone showing up. But it's good to see the support. It's good to see the local what we're doing. It's good to see the local area supporting what we're doing. The state of Minnesota is supporting what we're doing. The nation's supporting what we're doing, and the world is now supporting Cuyuna. So thank you everyone for that support. And I'm not kidding. It's seriously, the world is supporting. And I'm going to give you a brief overlook of what happened in 2014. So going back to January of last year, we had a huge amount of cold weather. We had a huge amount of snow, and so that created a situation where we needed folks stomping the trails with their create a easy path for the grooming equipment through there, so we'd get that, you know, that 21-inch sweet snowy single track that we had last year, and it was gorgeous. I'm sure you had a good time. It was fun, but you know, it took a lot of work, so I appreciate everyone who was out there stomping the trails down. But there was a group headed by Liz, the Snow Zombies. They were their only job in life was to stomp snow, and that's what they did last year. They would get out of work, go out and stomp the snow down, so they could prepare it for the DNR, so they could run the grooming equipment through there, only to wake up the next day to 3 more. Appreciate, you know, a huge amount. Shoveling, and then a huge thanks to the Snow Zombies for everything you guys did. We couldn't have done it without you. So, and then that leads to spring, where we had all this snow, and then the sun started coming, and so that snow had to go somewhere, and it created mud, mudslides, mud puddles, sludge, sticks, rocks, trees, and we needed to get off the trail in order to open the trails for the summer mountain biking. So once again, the crew created an event that we asked all of the volunteers to, you know, put in some time to get the trails ready so we could open for the spring biking season. You know, get the mountain bikes out there, and we had over 25 people show up for that event and put in their own personal time and effort. It was awesome. Everyone showed up. We took care of the issues, and shortly after that, we had the trails open. So, and once again, a huge thanks to everyone who showed up for that spring event to get things rolling. But it doesn't stop at that. We had you got monthly maintenance that is always needed on the trails. There's always something, a rock that needs to be kicked off or a tree that needs to be dragged off. And so the crew created a weekly work day where the crew would you know, have a meeting spot once a week, and we would all go out and tackle whatever issues were an issue at that time, and we'd try to knock that out and, you know, get the trails ready for better riding, try to get that gold standard that Cuyuna recommends. And we were doing that. Everyone who showed up for that was a huge thing for Cuyuna. An extra Bruce and Joshua were like the backbone of our weekly maintenance. So without them, it would have crumbled. So I really appreciate their support. That was pretty awesome. But that, you know, that being said, moving forward, the sun, vegetation, and so then the trails have all this beautiful vegetation growing alongside it, and then eventually in it and then on it, and you can't ride your bike through that. So we started getting snippers, and we were cutting it down. We got 25 miles of trail, 2 sides of trail, so 50 miles of trail to eliminate the vegetation. And then the DNR stood up and said, "Hey, we're gonna provide a training our gas-powered equipment, so we can eliminate that to the DNR for setting and trained on how to use their equipment, so we can go in there and do 25 miles of trail and eliminate that vegetation versus hand snipping, because we know we did a lot of that and that was no fun. But and then the crew, you know, in building business around the nation, we've generated funds. So we've taken those funds and decided, hey, we've got a great winter biking program. We want to increase it so it's to that gold standard that Cuyuna recommends. And so we've ordered, and actually it arrived today, some grooming, state-of-the-art grooming equipment to create that gold standard at Cuyuna. And once again, the DNR gave us the opportunity to be able to get trained and to take our state-of-the-art equipment and drag it down the trail. And so now the DNR has provided for us, they provided a 6x6 with tracks and a tracked Kubota to drag our grooming equipment. So once again, thank you very much for that. That's a huge under and that's a job in itself. So thank you again. I just want to say thank you to anyone who's ever stepped foot as a volunteer on the trails and put their time into the trails, because it's there's a good feeling in your heart when you join the guys are enjoying it, or you're riding the trail and you say, hey, I did this trail, this is kind of cool, you know. So thank you everyone who volunteered, and I do ask, if you did volunteer, if you would continue to volunteer, but even beyond that, grab your friend, because we need more volunteers, because we have a lot of trail and we've got a lot of maintenance. So thank you very much, and see you on the trail.
I had an opportunity to speak with the DNR before tonight's meeting, and they were accruing all the volunteer hours that have been, and they said a conservative number right now is 1,500 hours that volunteers have put on these trails to do exactly. Hours are the National Mountain Bike Patrol. Amy is here representing them. Amy, you want to just do this with your arm? I don't know if Daryl's here. Daryl would say something by now, so I don't think he's here. But the National Mountain Bike Patrol for the Cuyuna Lakes, they're out there to make sure people are safe. They're out there in case someone needs help, they help them. And that's a major Cuyuna Lakes Ride Center, the Cuyuna Lakes Ride Center. And we thank you, Amy and Daryl, and CRMC, which is Cuyuna Regional Medical Center, for stepping. Dan Brown has the money report.
Oh, fun. Well, welcome. Didn't know I was going to be speaking in front of all you folks today, but it's good to see a big room full. So I'm just going to go down my quick little financials real quick for you guys. At the end of the year, we have a checking balance of $53,274. We're over 58,000 is put into debt, and we have 23,000 dedicated for grooming equipment. 33,500 is dedicated for our was helped by a $10,000 grant from Trek, and hopefully that'll be completed. And so that leaves us with, we got about 23,000 plus excess. And I just wanted to recap real quick. We had 36 cash paying part, $24,500. And most of those are 2-year partnerships. They come in this year, plus more. We also had 12 trade partners of over $10,000 that was donated to the crew as well. And besides the partnered funds, we had over 14,000 in general donations for the year as well. And that's about it.
If anyone wants to take home a spreadsheet or 3, Dan has them in the back, so you can look over all the numbers and see what we're all doing, because we want to be transparent with everything that's coming in and going out. But rest assured that every dollar we take in, we do our absolute best to put it back on the red dirt or the white snow trails, because that's what it's about. And even tonight, I got multiple calls from people saying, so do you have stuff to eat and water? And it was because, I mean, at all humble ship, so that we can do all we can out there on the trails where it's going to help all of you, because that's what these trails are economic trails for this region, and we believe in that. I think the Honorable Bruce Swanson is up next. As he comes up, his name, that's what we call him now because of his clunker ride. He's the Vice President. Let's give him a round of applause.
Haven't got too good of a voice tonight. That was way more of an introduction than I deserve. And some of you that know me well, I kind of came in t-shirt or flannel. My wife asked me who died when I was leaving the house. But in keeping with that, those of you can see that I still have a little bit of my normal attire. Those are Cuyuna socks. So. The vice president's role in most organizations doesn't really have a lot of responsibility, and that suits me because I'm not really a very responsible person. And if you don't believe that, just ask my wife who that guy is that gets up at 4:30 in the morning, put the garbage out on Tuesdays. So over the past year, we've enjoyed a number of successes at Cuyuna to maintain our own big dreams. As VP, I'm asked to be second in command in the president's absence, providing some minimal measure of leadership. Father Clunker for the clunker ride. But one other role that I've taken on is kind of a contact between the city of Cuyuna and that's to aid and assist the pump track volunteers Nate Denny and Meredith Novak. Now, some of you know this and some don't. A pump track is a manufactured structure designed to safely encourage physical fitness and foster bike skills in the outdoors. To pump their bikes around up and measure of speed, but the track is designed to use gravity and centrifugal force positively to safely contain the riders. Parks are springing up all over America, and the forward-thinking folks in Cuyuna elected to create one of their own, hiring Lee McCormick to design. According to Bruce Swan, the contractor that performed the on-ground construction, this site has potential to join a rarefied few in world-class status. That's right. The pump track is just one part of Cuyuna's plan, which also includes a campground and park area. This local feature dovetails well into the things that are happening in the area. What was once a moonscape of raw red earth has become a nationally recognized recreation area with spectacular natural beauty. But the pump tracks, like any structure, require maintenance. The folks at Cuyuna, recognizing that they have only a little experience with bicycle infrastructure, approached the crew for advice and help. Representing the crew, Nate Denny and Meredith Novak attended an IMBA workshop and training last spring to hone their technical skills in relationship to manage the surface of a pump track. But with a wet, rainy spring and early summer, we were unable to present a also combined to create a tsunami that nearly overwhelmed our intrepid volunteers. This fall, we decided to assess our have created a committee to manage our connection to the pump track and to Cuyuna. Nate and Meredith remain the technical gurus, and with the addition of Joel Hartman as trail maintenance supervisor, who will decide how to marshal resources to assure the best possible outcome. And of course, I fit in there somewhere as second in command. For the most part, I will also, can I laugh at my own jokes? For the most part, I will also function as the city council. Looking ahead, I expect further challenges, but a more effective and efficient relationship will be the goal and expected outcome. I would like to thank all of the forward-thinking folks from Cuyuna for their efforts this far in creating this attraction. And I'd like to raise up Nate and Mary. Thank you. And thank you, Nate. Or Nate, thank you, Mary.
So the next item up for bid on the annual meeting is our cyclist survey. How many those kiosks earlier? Put your arms way up. If you didn't, do after. This was a cycling, this is Joshua's presentation, I shouldn't be giving it. Joshua, come up and tell them about the cycling survey. But it was something we did so we actually knew what our cyclists, who they were, where they were, what are they doing, what are they like, what are they not like. We worked with Andrew. I don't think he's in the room. He's our angel in disguise in the Cuyuna area. He's an economist who has started currency and economy for foreign countries. And he's worked across the world. And he chose to live in the Cuyuna Lakes after he did all of that. Why? I'll give you his answer. At me and said, like I was stupid, quality of life. That was Andrew Hook. I should have known better. But Joshua, take it away. Tell us about the cycling survey.
You for coming tonight, including the 6 of you which are watching live on our live stream. Let me just say, if the live stream goes down while I'm tonight, that is something that we just tried here tonight and got the fact that we have 5 of you online watching is good because the notice only went out about 20 minutes before the meeting got started. So I'm here to talk about the cyclist survey. Maybe you feel like Mark Twain, who said that facts are stubborn, but statistics are pliable. And when you look at that survey and the information up there, on the 31st of July, it ran to the end of September, which was the 30th. We used the SurveyMonkey web platform, which allows users who want to do surveys to have knowledge that their survey is running, it's running well, and it's not being spoofed or spammed by any group. We had 30 of those, or 10 of those were open-ended, meaning the respondents could put down anything they wanted. And we're going to see why that's important here in a second. We had 700 respondents. 700 people lived in areas as far west east as North Carolina and as far north as the northern reaches of Manitoba. 90 Minnesota. That is who answered our survey. Let's go through the data in the survey, and I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to get up here and rattle off a bunch of stuff. But I do want to start with this one question and the answer, and that was question number 37. Have you ever heard of or visited Cuyuna before the mountain? people answered, 67% said no. That means for at least those 64%, we put Cuyuna on the map for them. And that's something that we should all be proud of. So who were these respondents? Well, they varied in age. We had 5 that were over 70. Good job, guys. In ages 20 and 50. Most reported not bringing their children, but about 30%. Most of those had multiple children, ages 5 to 15. When they stay up here, right now, they're staying for a day trip or a 2-day trip. By and large, that's about 90%. So almost all the people are here for a day or 2 days. So what do they do up here besides bike? Well, they spend money, which I'm sure most of you are actually 27, or I'm sorry, questions 23 to 27. What they spent on food, what they spent on dinner, what they spent on equipment. The totals were 7909. Now those are totals that have been weighted. So people who didn't answer the questions, we assumed their answer was 0. Assumed it was 0. So those are very conservative numbers. It's $79 a day. Now, on question 28, we asked where they spent that money. And a very interesting thing started about $80 a day. We had them rank places where they spent money. Cuyuna was number 1. Brainerd-Baxter area was number 2. But when you got further down the rankings, an interesting thing showed up. On the second place, killed it. They took almost all that money. And as you got down to 3rd and 4th place, Crosby was still in there. What that tells us is that people come here, they do spend some money in the Crosby area, but a lot of it is going to Brainerd and Baxter. If you're from the Brainerd Lakes Chamber, you're probably going, yeah. Wish some of that money would be spent here. And this is where the open-ended questions really show a picture. We had 2 questions, 14 and 15, about eating. What places you go to around here, what places you like somewhere else that you would like to see there. And what we saw again and again was people saying, in Crosby. I can't find that, so I go to Brainerd to eat. If we had to pay royalties based upon local restaurants that got mentioned, we would have to write, because that was one that kept coming up. We also learned some things, not just about money, but about people's hopes and dreams and what they wanted out of the trails. One of the things that they wanted a lot was better access and signage from the cities to the trails. We have 2 cities, Crosby, in some cases literally 2 blocks from trail crossings. There's no signage, there's no way to tell those people, you can have a burger here, you can get that part over there, you can come into town for that. And that was something that they requested. Another thing was they wanted Wi-Fi hotspots in town, and they also wanted better biking parking infrastructure. So, okay, I get into town on my bike, now I need a place to park my bike, and the restaurant I go to doesn't have Wi-Fi, I need to look something up. We had 2 other questions that I want to spend the rest of my is questions 38 and 39. Those were open-ended questions. And the Add, what would you like to see that would draw you here, keep you here, make you more excited about coming? By far was trails, and it was split into two groups: beginner trails and advanced trails. So our respondent, or I'm a newbie and I'm a little intimidated, so I want something a little beginner. Or maybe it's I'm advanced and it's gonna just scare the pants off of me. And so that kind of split the group, beginner and advanced. We also had a lot of requests for a brew pub. If you're a business owner and you're thinking, what kind of business would I want to open in Crosby that would just be very successful? Brew pub. Brew pub is the answer for that one. You want to do brew pub. If you open one, you'll probably have to build a little vault like Scrooge McDuck where you can swim around in your money. They also wanted more things in town happening, concerts, small little events, festivals, things they can find. Better camping. That was a really high point. Hostels, hotels, and a diversity of shops. Those were all things that were top of the list. There was many more. They're in the word cloud over there if you want to see top ones. Question 39 was one about what would detract from your experience. What would make it less likely to come? And I'm every one of these. You see that mining, returning, is the number one thing. And just putting it up there at number one, an insight into the type of passion people had about that subject. These are direct quotes from the respondents. I wouldn't come if mines opened and ruined the trails. Mining, I could never forgive the locals and would never return and close the trails and I will never come back. Now someone might look at those quotes and go, whew, that's a little harsh, but I see people that like this place. I see people that are want to lose it. And that's something that we should all be proud of. Another thing that they mentioned is they want more trails and they want more variety. If they don't see it coming, they might go somewhere else. Well, that's something that we can all work on, that we can come together on and make happen for them. Again, it sounds like a negative, but if you think about it, there's a positive, there's growth there. Money locally. As I said earlier, we noticed a lot of their money's going to other places, Brainerd Baxter, Nisswa, but they actually want to spend the money here. They're just not finding what they need. Again, it's a positive. It's a place for growth. We can make their dreams come true. They were also concerned a little bit about and commercialization. Well, those are things that coming down the pike. There's no magic bullet for it. If we had the answer for it, everybody would want to know it. So what lessons did we get out of the... First of all, Cuyuna Lakes mountain bike trails are very popular, which you might have guessed. They have very passionate users. They want more trails. They want to spend their money locally here in town. They want to get into and out of, and ultimately that there's tons and tons and tons of growth for the local community. The 20 wealth of information. And we are a club and we like openness. The actual individual results available to partners and elected officials here in the towns so that you can look through the data and you can see what's there. And for those of you from the media, we will also make the graphics over here available to you in a downloaded format. It's easy to read. After the meeting, if you would like those things, please come over to where I'm setting the computer there in the middle, and I will
operation, right? Did he live up to the name? I think we should call him a pastor of data. That's what he sounded like to me. So now, who came for the actual Master Vision rollout tonight? Anyone? Just 2 people. That's weird. The rest of you came for what you just heard. I would have never seen that coming because our normal meetings have, about 49 to 50 people, but not 100. So that's pretty cool. Was Erica Rivers. She is the director of Minnesota Parks and Trails. She actually came down with illness this morning, and we received the word that she wouldn't be here. But we have Scott Kelly. Where is Scott? Scott is our director of the region, right, Scott? Office is out of Grand. Have him here. He is our partner. He is our friend, as is everyone within the state. And Scott's going to provide a little insight as we roll into the Master Vision. So let's give Scott a big hand.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, I'd say it's less of an honor to have me here than it would have been to have Erica, but not as smart. Just hats off to everybody in the room here for all that you do for us. I just start out with a huge thank you. Your leadership and energy and enthusiasm for what you're doing for Cuyuna is just awesome, and it's so cool. And I've been with DNR for a long 5 years, and I've been to a lot of big meetings. And I think everybody in this room is, and we don't get to go what we're for. So this is just awesome. It's just great to be here. So and I am honored to be able to have a chance to chat with you tonight. So I'll just start out with some quick introductions of some of the DNR staff. Again, my name is Scott Kelling. I'm the regional manager for I've kind of a broad scope for my job, but my work for Cuyuna, primarily involves maybe once in a while helping to advocate for Cuyuna or try to find some money or get a project going, or hopefully toward Cuyuna and the needs and wants that are here to help continue to build this place up. So that's what I get to do among a lot of other things. But I want to introduce, I think probably all of you know, and Nick Stats, the 2 guys on the ground. Not really getting it done. Visit. So that's just work so much. We've got 3 other folks here from DNR Parks and Trails here tonight as well. Dave Olfelt, who's our operations manager at the region, will be up here in a minute to talk a little bit about some upcoming activities and planning efforts that we're working on. And then Daryl Schindler, one arm or so, Dave, or Daryl. Daryl's out of the Grand Rapids office as well, and he's going to be assisting with the park planning effort that is upcoming that Dave's going to talk about. So it's kind of Daryl's today, so we're glad he could come down with us. And then Eric Pelto, I think, waved his arm a little bit earlier and deserves a lot of credit for the ICANN mountain bike programming. He's our special programs coordinator out of St. Paul. So I'm not even sure. Fun. So I'm just going to talk about Cuyuna a little bit, and I'm not going to stand up here and talk about the DNR, but I want to talk about Cuyuna division of the DNR a little bit, because our division is big. We operate 76 state park and recreation areas, and those are iconic parks like Itasca and Gooseberry Falls and Split Rock Lighthouse, places like that. We've got 25 state door here, the Cuyuna Lake State Trail, but other big trail systems like the Root River Trail, the Paul Bunyan Trail, you know, it goes from Brainerd to Bemidji. We've got over 1,500 public water accesses that we manage around the state. There's one right here in Cuyuna. Well, there's more than that, but we've got, you know, access. We'll continue to add to our system. So it's a big system. Probably most of you have heard of Lake Vermilion State Park. That is, you know, new, and we're developing new projects that we're continuing to work on. And Cuyuna has been one of those and continues to be. We also got, you know, funding last year, bonding money for a bunch of new trail development around the state. So there's just a lot going on. So I'm telling you that for a couple of reasons. First is to help you realize that Cuyuna is that faces a big set of challenges. We've got funding issues. We've got, you know, a bureaucracy to work through, diverse interests. You know, everything from mountain bikers to park users and hikers and swimmers and scuba divers. So it's just a really broad bunch of work that we have to do. And we never have enough. And that's the case here, and that's the case at every unit that we have to manage across the state. And I think what Aaron and others here have come to realize is we can't move as fast. A challenge for us at all times. And then the second reason I bring up kind of the broader parks and trail system is to help demonstrate that Cuyuna is working its way up toward that iconic status of some of those other units like I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's coming out of the shadows and working its way into one of the upper tiers of Minnesota's recreation destinations. And so here's a few of the reasons why. You know, we all know it's a great place. It's getting better every year. So much of that is due to this partnership that by club. You know, a few stats, you know them, there's 25 miles of trail. That's out there in the summer. Now we're around 20 for winter use. The Cuyuna Lake State Trail is about 6 miles right now with 4 more miles going to be built. This summer, there's fishing, there's scuba diving, and then there's some new amenities that are out here that we're going to get to enjoy next summer, like what I'm hearing called the Rally Center, the new trail center that finally, I think, creates a place that is a real center. Now they'll know they're there. And different places to show up and hit the trails. But now we're going to have this center where people will really have a sense of having arrived at Cuyuna. We've got some yurts that are almost ready to go. Probably most of you have seen them. They'll be on the reservation in a matter of weeks. I talked about how we need to be patient with done. Couple hiccups along the way. A couple more that have delayed us a couple of weeks, but the yurts are just about ready to open. And then just the fact that people are catching on. You know, all that information that's over there is, we know that visitation is up. Steve can speak to that. People are coming here and they're spending money and they're having fun and they're benefiting the local economy. So I just want to close with 7 quick reasons why Cuyuna is becoming one of these flagship, iconic types of units in our. So first of all, right now it's Minnesota's premier mountain bike trail destination. You know, we're there as the top destination for mountain biking in Minnesota. There's others that are sort of trying to emulate or copy these same opportunities, but our challenge goal of connecting more young people and families to the outdoors, of the challenge of trying to keep the next generations showing up and visiting our parks and trails and having appreciation and stewardship for outdoor activities. They're competing with, you know, other activities and screen time and all that, and Cuyuna is doing a great job of bringing outdoors. The third thing is that Cuyuna offers such a multiple and unique recreation use destination. You know, there's a traditional activities, scuba dive, or not scuba diving, that's not traditional, hiking, camping. And then some of the things that are kind of unique to this area are, you know, the paddling on these mine pit lakes. It's so cool. We've got the stand-up paddleboard now that is, you know, a great place for that. Aaron was talking about that this afternoon. Clear water, how can you beat that for that new emerging activity? So Cuyuna is just poised for these new emerging, you know, and just a new set of users. And so, you know, I didn't mention the mountain biking and fat biking. The fourth thing is that we're trying to, as a parks and trails system around the state, we're trying to develop a more kind of a diverse and differentiated system. We're working on this system plan. Some of you might have seen it, but we're trying not to do everything, all things for all people at every location, things at every park, and looking more for niches and unique destination, top quality activities that people can have. And Cuyuna is just a perfect example of that. It's this unique niche that provides, you know, adventure activities. The fifth thing that's really cool about this landscape is that the development here and the success land reclamation. You know, these are mine lands that were, you know, I won't say useless. There's habitat out there, and there's other recreational activities, but this is really capitalizing on the full potential of this landscape out here that's been mining in recent decades. And then the local economic opportunity, bringing in people and business, raising the profile. And then the most important thing, number 7, is what's happening right here. It's just a through the country in terms of partnerships and connecting new folks to outdoor activities. Cuyuna is just a shining example of what can happen with dedicated partners and commitment. For that, the mountain bike club here is energetic, strategic, visionary, responsible, and enthusiastic partnership here. And we're getting so much done, and there's so much more to do that we're going to learn about. And you know, I wrote in here that there's a mixture of sort of funkiness and impatience among this group that really keeps things bubbling, and it's just really cool. So congratulations on your continued success, and we're looking forward to this partnership to last and last.
So next up, we have Dave Oldfelt. He's coming up. We've also, as a crew, worked with Dave from the very get-go. And Dave's taught me a lot just about how to see through the lens of the DNR. And you always say that like that. Yeah, that's what he always says. But you need to see through it, because if you can complain, you can argue, you can get pissed. Life is every day that they have to work within. How can you help it? And I would call everyone here to attempt to see that. It's taken me 3 years to learn 2%, and I'm gonna keep trying to learn as best I can before we get to the master vision. And he said he would only take a minute, so you can time him.
Thanks, Aaron. Just want to echo Scott's praises of this group. We talk regularly about the energy and excitement that we get working. Appreciate that. I'm sort of the designated bureaucrat tonight to talk a little bit about a planning process that is going to follow what Aaron talks. Aaron, as you've heard, wheelers or other we need to talk about. You're going to have a seat at the planning table. You will have an opportunity for input when we get a draft. We'll have an open house maybe here or at the Hallis Center somewhere in town. There'll be an open house. There'll be another open house down the city, so we get some input from folks that are traveling up here. See what we come up with, how people respond to that. So we're looking forward to getting that product to you and hearing what you all think about it, so that we can get that next. Did I get it done in a minute? Okay. Thank you very much.
I bet you're happy to see that slide by now. I have this dysfunction. I think Scott had referenced somebody who was impatient. That might have been me, so I'm hoping. I sound tinny, don't I? I don't sound like my normal self, do I? I sound fine, good. So, it's 8:11, and we're going to get into it. I have a clicker so I can walk around if I have to. This is exciting. Are you excited at this point or not? And I hope you feel about that well. What you have to go into this knowing is it's not happening tomorrow. I hope you've heard that. It will not be met. This is a plan. This is a vision. It took 3 years to put this vision that you'll see in front of you. It doesn't mean it'll be 300 to see the end product. But just don't want it tomorrow too fast. To get into this, we have to thank people. The DNR, we thank again. Crow Wing County, we do need to thank. Where is Crow Wing County? Where's Doug Hogue, our commission? Hoekster, right there, our commission. Give him a hand. The 3 web people watching, I guess, still want to hear. Kirk Titus is also here with the county. Kirk, you want to wave your hand right there? And Jake Fry. I've learned more about land and forestry from Jake than anyone in my life, and I actually appreciate that. That's not an talk. Debt of gratitude to IMBA. Michelle Barker is with us. She's our new regional director. Please welcome her to Cuyuna. IMBA Trail Solutions, that's who we hired. That's who we hired to come help us with this vision, to put it all down. That's not my call. It's not my call. But they helped us with it, and Trek helped with it, because Trek donates X amount of dollars for every full suspension mountain bike you buy, and pointed to us through the regional director position. Hint, hint, Michelle, for future needs. But that $5,000 met the $5,000 from the crew that paid for the $10,000 plan you're about to see. So it wasn't free, and it wasn't easy. And Dave Oldfelt was with us, a majority of them, and he even fought through, I think it was raining, snowing, and hail and brimstone came down that day that we were going through it. And this might be, we got to look at this. Our crew partners, our crew members, and every event participant we've had. Without those three, we would $5,000, match INBA's $5,000. So if you're any one of those three, or if you want to be, give yourself a round of applause, because you're. So that's where we are today, 30,000 feet above sea level, Cuyuna. You can see Riverton, Ironton, Crosby, Cuyuna, Trommeled. That's the rec area you're looking at. You see this? That's our trail footprint today. These are the names you've come to love. Anyone ever go out to Yaqui? People smiled when I said that. Why would you smile when you hear the word Yaqui? Well, bobsled, smiles. What is with this magic potion called Cuyuna? But this is what you've all come to know. This is what we love. State trail that started it all. John Schabach, Jenny Smith, Dan Cruiser, many others. Thank you. Thank you. Say it with me. Oh, bled like crazy to others that I don't know. New for 2015, the Rally Center. It's awesome. It took longer than we thought. It's open, you won't care. It's incredible. The Yurt Campground, when they open, you'll love them. And as Grandma Houghton always said, do it right or don't do it at all, and that's why we like the DNR. They're going to do it. This is what's been a. But through legislature in the last session, the money was allocated to get the paved trail actually from here to here, from Riverton into the Sagamore unit. And from over here, my hand looks like a freakazoid, look at that. From over here where it ends by the Hallett Center and by the elementary school, all the way to Deerwood. I mean, we almost have every Cuyuna Range town connected through bike trails. Who else can say that? Very few. It's exciting. It's appointed. It doesn't mean it's getting built tomorrow. There's lots of things they have to go through, but it's coming. We have to thank the Cuyuna Lakes Chamber for that happening. We need to thank the Cuyuna Lakes Trails Association. We need to thank Judy Erickson, who you'll hear about later. Can we thank them with a Cuyuna round of applause? Let's do that. To me personally, and I think it's going to be exciting to our customers. Next year, True North Base Camp will be a real deal. Here's the guys right here, Dan and Jeff. They are the first. They're the first. They're the first area and to invest in the area because they're seeing what the area provides. Right here, our mayor of Crosby tirelessly pushed that through so it would happen, and I thank you for the work you did. You really were. Trail system. It'll have 8 waterfront cabins. That sound good? It'll have 28 campsites. Paddle in, paddle out. And I want to predict something. 5 years from now, paddleboarding will be more important here than mountain biking. The mountain bike guy just said that. That's my hope for this area. But because we are on the front edge of something new in paddleboarding and we have the ultimate, just like we did for the mountain bike trails, I want you guys to make that happen. Because I know you're connected to it. That's all I expect out of you. They'll actually have online reservations. They say July 1st target date, but you know how deadlines go. I mean, if you do it, amen, thank you. But yeah, that's true. That it could be 2020 for all we know. One of the reasons why it's a big deal is we have 25 miles of single track. That equals 1 day of riding without repeating a trail. Andy Rangan, who's right there, how long did it take you to do everything? About 4 hours? 3 hours. He's a little quicker than me. Took me 4 days. But if a guy do it in 3 hours, it means we got day trips to Cuyuna. I didn't get involved in the crew because I liked bikes. I like mountain bikes. I got involved because I saw an economic opportunity for this region. That's why I went in. It's like, this could be something huge. And wow, could we turn this into something amazing? My top is, I couldn't believe the quality of these trails. And I fell in love with the sport that day. And I've changed my life to try to be better at it because I'm sick of Kelly Ziegler always on my butt. Because of that. But we have these day trips to Cuyuna, and I don't like day trips. Do you guys like day trips when they're customers? Do you like when Dan, do you like day trips? No, I bet not. Day trips to me, let's not have. They can come, they can go. They can come, they can go. Where's the economy going? We have missed an opportunity to capture revenue, and I think that's important to the city of Crosby, city of Ironton, city of Deerwood, city of Cuyuna, city of Trombled, and if we do this right, the city of Manganese, we're going to bring it back. Quote me on. No, don't quote me on. Don't put that in the paper. Strike that. That is not. Don't you go out. That wasn't me who said that. Wouldn't it be cool to get Manganese back? The sidewalks are there. Just build the town. Overnight stays equal in income. Region and hospitality, food and beverage, medical. I'm proof of that. I mean, we're not going to build them for that, but it happens. Retail and real estate. That's why we want to grow the trails. Not because Aaron wants more things to ride and Dan wants more things to ride. If we're going to do this, let's do it so it can sustain. We love Cuyuna. Everybody who loves it, hands, only 4 people love Cuyuna. What is wrong with this crowd? 4 people love Cuyuna. I'm going to have a lot of opposition when I try to get out of here, I guess. One day of riding without repeating a trail doesn't sound as polished anymore, does it? Master vision, finally, an hour and a half in. What does it call for, Kathy?
3 days of riding without repeating a trail.
Is anybody for that? 3 days of riding without repeating a trail? Now, don't come back and ask for your money back. But for the average person, because keep in mind, why are we building this? To be an international, year-round, insane downhill ever. We hope to have some of that, right? But that's not all we're going to have. Okay. Equals a 2-night stay equals cyclenomics for our region. Frank, Grandview Lodge, that even affects you, doesn't it? Yes, it does. They see trails. That's why we're doing it. We have to impact, we want to impact the Cuyuna communities first. They're here, but we can impact the whole region. This isn't just a Cuyuna thing. So do you want to see the vision, or should I just keep blabbering on about, what do you think, Jeff? You sick of me by now? Yeah, just about. I better keep going. So that's what we have today. That's what we want to have. Want to see that again?
Yeah.
You can see the increased trail footprint. We're going to dissect each one of them. Don't think that's the end of the program. Right here is the Cuyuna Hills of Crow Wing County. I didn't put any lines on there because we haven't got that far. But there's today, master vision. There's a lot more opportunity yet to come. I want you to get comfortable with these names. Blackhoof. Doesn't that sound good? Yeah, you feel it. Morocco. Who knows what Morocco stands for? Liz. Morocco. Ore Company, right, Steve? See, Morocco Ore Company. That's pretty cool. I've seen the future, and its name is Morocco. That's all I'll tell you about it. It's a Section 36 in the Cuyuna Hills. Those are the new names. Come up with priorities, or else we're just going to put a bunch of lines on a map. And we always have to come back to these priorities to make sure we're actually doing what we set out to do. You know, I like to be way more spontaneous. I like to just go have fun. But that's the beauty of working with the state and working with IMBA Trail Solutions. They said, no, you got to have priorities. This was our first one. Make the entire system all two-way trail. Who's for that? It's hard. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's safer. And if we're going to do an international year-round family cycling destination, I don't think the head-ons with the kids is going to go over. So we have to change that. It's a culture of safety. We learned this from the DNR. I wouldn't say that would be my first thing I thought of. They said, you need safety first, bro. And they're right. Increase depth and variety of experiences. True beginner trail. We really don't have true beginner trail. And not because Easy Street is too hard. It's that Easy Street is too far down if you go that way. It's the fall zones, not the climb, not the whatever. It's the width. A couple people to ride side by side on, so they can just get comfortable on gravel. I personally don't like that because I want my trail. We need beginner trail, put their hand, not because it was too hard, but it was over their skill set. And the mountain biking sport is still a baby sport. And we're helping define what it really is. And I think more people in this room probably will like that, true expert trail, where we have a lot of trails that are double black diamonds, but maybe they're really not. I mean, they're really fast and fun, but a true expert, that's what I call a true expert trail. So timber shaft, true expert trail. But imagine something that was a couple miles long instead of, imagine that. By the way, the rec area already has it. We don't have to bring it in. It's already there. You know that, Tim. You've seen it. And opportunities for off-road hand cycling. For folks that can't ride a bike. They deserve something. We have an opportunity to provide for more than just us. We want to connect the trail systems to our communities. Why? Because when people can get to the town easy, they'll spend money there. It's that simple. Cyclenomics is what I call it. And then provide extended backcountry journeys. Our longest trail right now, I think, is a mile. Because they're all like this, right? And what Trail Solutions, they just looked at it and said, well, don't keep doing that. We need to provide extended backcountry journeys. And what we have is amazing trail because of what you had to work on. Because like when you were out there, it's like you're going over this and all of a sudden, oh, I can't build on that. So what the builders and designers did for the is what's next. How does an 8-mile trail sound? No intersections. Maybe you have to cross a couple, but it's not going to be a bike intersection where you have to guess where you are. 8 miles. That's why Crow Wing County's here. They have that opportunity in their land. We're a long way from having it, but it's there. And I like to say this, get away without being too far away. Formula of Cuyuna. You feel like you're way out in the woods, but if you get high enough up, you can see downtown. And no matter where you are, you grab your phone and your cell phone works. It is kind of a nice thing. And tightly link the trail system to, and that's why it's easy to find, hard to leave. We want it to be simple to get back to your campground. We want it to be simple to park and get on the trails. So it's the best possible experience. And develop event-focused trail loops. And what we mean by this is imagine being able to have NICA do a race with by the time, maybe 6,000 kids by then, and they do their race, and the rest of the trail system because they're on a selected place that is connected but not integral to the system. We have that opportunity. That's the magic of Cuyuna. So you could have all the visitors coming, and you could bring in another 1,000 visitors, and they're all using the system, and they don't butt heads at all. We don't have to shut down the whole system. Near and dear to my heart. Maybe too near and dear sometimes, but become the preeminent winter mountain bike destination. It's good due to some things called mountains and others. There's no reason why this town can't be winter mountain bike town world. We have that opportunity. We've done our best to have it, and we showed up recently in Men's Health. Outdoor Magazine is one of the top 5 in the United States. So we're on the right track. But I think we can really go for it. And that means each new trail that we actually put down is designed with grooming in mind. On a 20-inch drag, we know that we're going to be able to get through there. We're not going to have all these trails we can't turn into the winter trail. So let's break it down. That's a lot to take in. I've had 3 years to think about it. How are you guys doing? Brain leaking out of your ear yet? You still want to go? So that's the whole system. That's Sagamore. This is Pennington, Portsmouth, Yawkey. And when I tried to put this presentation together, so if I lose you, I'm sorry. Done my best. But we're going to go over to Yawkey. Anyone ever been to Yawkey? We know where that is. It's right through there. So these are the opportunities in Yawkey. This is existing footprint all through here. All these dotted lines are existing. So what we want is a single direction system, and there's actually a gravity flow trail opportunity in here. But what is the first priority is a single direction. So our first move, and we want likes going out on Hall Road more than going in. Show of hands, because DNR needs to see that. That's another survey. To do that means we need a new trail go in through the Croft Mine Park area. And it will allow maybe one of the more used areas for families and kids to not have to worry about, we don't like that. We don't like safety. And then there's a third hill that the state just acquired the land for. It's a hill that's equal height to bobsled. Yeah, there's a smile again. So there's that opportunity again in Yawkey. The new entry trail that's going to make Hall Road one way, it's scheduled for construction this upcoming season. That's news of today. Anyone care? Is that good? Yeah. That means we got 1.5 miles estimated more. It's no longer, boy, I hope it happens. It's going to happen. And that's exciting for us. So now we're going to go Portsmouth. That's where I'm looking at. Joel Hartman say that? Yeah, that's where Joel is the mayor of South Portsmouth. I don't know if you knew that, but you might want to check into his rogue government he's operating. Yes, please look into that. So this is there's a paved trail here. And then Yawkey's over here, Highway 6, all that. Guess what's right in the middle of that? Oh, there's our friends. True. Portsmouth, so we don't have two-way on the north side, which would be on dragline. And it's our return. And the good news here is this trail is also scheduled for construction this upcoming season. So that's 2.0 miles of new single track, providing potentially 3.5 miles of single track next season, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited, A, because it'll be fun to ride, but more important, I'm excited because I don't have to worry about head-ons, because that's starting to bother me. And I'm really thankful for the state in making this a priority. I will see that there's a new trail happening this next year. Because if I don't, the assumption will be, and then you'll be disappointed, you'll stop listening. So now we're going to go up here to the city of Cuyuna. That's right up there. So this is the Yawkey unit. This is city of Cuyuna. This is the pump track. Do we have anyone from the city here tonight? How you doing? Thanks for coming. And then this is the connecting trail. We need to get jumping in your car, driving all the way around isn't a great idea. The secondary idea is a trail that's existing, but it displaces users or it shares users. It's too much risk. We have to build a cycling specific trail to the pump track. And then here's the big one. It's a recreational land. There's opportunity for an estimated 8-mile trail out in that recreation land. And this isn't land that'll bore you to tears. This is, Jake, what do you call this land? Glacial? I don't need a symposium. We got people's time.
Thanks to ice, what 10,000 years ago.
The ice of 10,000 years. In the fall, it's the prettiest thing you've ever seen, and the soil happens to contain clay, which if you take and roll, you can have a ball. It's called the hero dirt of mountain biking, and it's the exact opposite or different or complementary to the. This is silly, right across the road from each other. And when Nick and I heard that, Nick knew that look, I smiled. Because when I go out there, that land is the most beautiful land you'll ever see. Dan Cruiser knows it well. It's in his backyard. I have to highlight a couple things. There are existing motorized trails on there. We have no intention of displacing those trails or using those trails. We will the issues and the experience issues we want to bring to the table. There is forestry happening, which Jake manages. And if anything, you would learn how to do it right if you went out there and saw it. It is not a clear cut. It is not take it down. They do a very good job because this land is very valuable. It's incredibly cool. I really want to get that 8-mile trail out of there. Is anyone else? Yes. Yeah, I hope so too. And I hope if anyone has heard anything tonight, it's partnerships make miracles happen. If you don't know how to partner and you don't know how it's going to work, nothing. So estimated trail length, the pump track connecting trail alone would be 5 miles because we want to loop it. We don't want to, we're not going to do this from Cuyuna Hill. Wow, I underestimated 10. Do you like Penn better? Yeah, I forgot about that. That's cool. So now we're going to go over here to the Black Hoof unit, the Monoman unit, the big unit as I call it. So that's what we have. In Rally Center, this is Mucker Mountain. We familiar with where we are? There's an opportunity right here in Black Hoof unit, which is right next to the city of Ironton's property, and they have a huge opportunity if they want to move on it to they are to the trails. But we can do beginner loops. This is the true beginner trail I talked about. And then there would be intermediate hot laps off of that, and intermediate spots where you could jump off of the beginner loop. So if you want to go with your kid, you can ride with your kid and she's doing whatever. And hey, I'm going to take this beeline, but the beeline still, you can both enjoy it at your own pace and kind of do your thing, but they're still doing their thing. And it creates a great opportunity for beginners. We want to put a trail along South Huntington. This is Huntington Mine Lake, so that we can get rid of the problems on Easy Street of two-way. And then how do I get back? Figured it out already. He sent me the Google Earth maps of it, but it's not super simple. This area, you have a majestic view of the lake. It's incredible. And then redesigning Easy Street to be one-way, again for safety. Safety, safety, safety. We're reporting tonight. That's what we want to report. So estimated trail lengths, the green loops would be about 2. The blue hot laps, 2. The South Huntington, 1.5. These are some good distances. These are some good trails. I don't even know what I call this. Paradise Point? Is that what you call that, Steve? No, I'm way off. I have no clue where I am. No. So here's where we are again. Entry point and rally centers right here. And then this is a switchback trail just going through here. So what, we can't do this right now because there needs to be acquisitions by the state. It's not 100% owned. But when we did parcels that the state could purchase that would really make a better product. So that's what we were looking at. Because that'll connect to the South Portsmouth Loop, and then you'll be able to ride all the way around the whole ride center like this. If you can imagine the whole trail system. Cool. And then this is expansion, requires the state land to acquire and the dollars. And this would be the extended natural technical single track. So imagine what you're seeing on Timber Shaft, but do it for a long time. And it's not all congested like Timber Shaft is. And when I say that, I don't mean that's a shaft. And it provides our experts their feature that they want to see coming. Is how many people here have gone to Valley Fair? Boy, nobody does anything in this room. Bunch of Minnesotans. How many went again? How many went one more time? What did they provide to you to get them back more than once? It was usually the next thing. When I went the first time, High Roller was the biggest thing ever, right? That was the wood roller coaster. Then it was Excalibur. Then it was Wild Thing. They kept bringing to the table to get the customers back. And that's what we need to do. We got to keep bringing to the table to get our customers back. And then Overdrive, remember that? Joshua is working with the state right now on finishing the exact location. We want to have it very close to the new entry point. It won't be right in that area because it's too tight. But we want to provide Overdrive right in that area. That is a project that we now have 34,000 came from Trek, 10,000 came from the Hallett trustees. The remaining 14,000, if my math is accurate, came from you, came from people, came from businesses. And the Overdrive skills area is a place for beginners, it's for intermediates, and bridges and features before they get out there. And Tim's project that he did at Lebanon is a perfect example. Cuyunified, because we have to Cuyunify it. But that is a very good example of what we hope our Overdrive project will be. Again, estimated trail lengths, 2 miles. Imagine a 2-mile technical trail. Is anyone interested in that? No one. Just a couple. South Pennington, 2 miles. Overdrive bike skills area, 34,000 raised, working on finding. Hope to see that in the next construction cycle too. And we had to postpone a lot of this stuff for the entry point, because that entry point had to be put in so we knew where our chess pieces were. And now that it's in, you're seeing stuff happen. And I hope that makes you feel good. Okay, remember Morocco? I've seen the future, and its name. Oh, that's my personal. This is like Sidewinder, and this is the whole Monoman unit. If you've ever gone up this road, Sean Anderson has, he knows it quite well. But there's opportunity here to have a whole single track trail loop that goes all the way up there. This will not be the most inexpensive trail to build. There is trail through here that would require a boardwalk. Parts of it go through low-lying areas. There's a Cuyuna right over here that looks nothing like the rest of Cuyuna. It is you on what you thought you knew to be true. And then up here is the big, big, big overburden piles that everywhere you walk, you weep. You're like, can we please build trail out here? But we loop this to provide an opportunity to get in and out. And these black trails, I should be going forward here. the backside of it. But then most difficult single track. This would be where we'd have our expert, but it would be expert single track. And the reason it's there is because the land provides it, and it's quite a ways from the entry point, which is way down here. So let's look at the lengths on those. That sounds like a fun trail, doesn't it? The black, 4 miles, and the Alstead Peninsula, 1.5 miles. So you're seeing the amount of yourself that it's not happening tomorrow, because you have to remember that. But this is our vision. This is our vision. And the final chess piece, Sagamore, the birthplace of winter fat biking in Cuyuna. The opportunities on the trail are to actually do a looping system, single track, to allow an experience for NICA, for our events, to allow 1,200 people through an event, to have passing lanes, to do at Eagle, Colorado. Who's this the best? We have that opportunity. And it's disconnected from the rest of the unit, allowing the rest of the unit to go on like nothing ever happened. So you can double dip your economy in your local area at the same time. Business owners like that. That's a good thing. So it's an event race trail. And this is one of Nick's projects for a very long time. But to have a winter trail that goes out, there's a groomed single track on the island. Again, there's experience points there. It's Saga. Never be the official name. We can put it on there. So it's 8-mile loop, which in NICA, how many miles are they doing?
We could run 2 races simultaneously.
So would that be good? Why are you smiling so much? Okay. Is anyone else happy? I feel like we're dead. I'm used to excitement, John. I'm not getting it. This is Cuyuna. We're not there. Oh, talk about exciting, hey? So, whoa, hey. Oh, show your money. We got a plan. $6 million is not cheap. I could say right now we already have the money. It's in your wallet. Get out your checks. Pass the hat, Jeff. We're going to see what we can come. You're going to need a bigger hat, brother. But to fuel the future, you got to go to different resources than downtown. You can't do it. You can't. You can't go locally. We're going to maybe raise some locally, but not the whole. And to do it, this is the million regional support. And when I say that, I don't mean just the towns of Crosby, Ironton. I love them. But we're going to ask Crosby, we're going to ask Ironton, we're going to ask Deerwood, we're going to ask Riverton. Who did I forget? All of them. And then we're going to ask Brainerd, then we're going to ask Nisswa, and we're going to ask Garrison, and we're going to ask Manganese, of course. We're going to ask Pequot. I want a 4-county area behind this thing. That's what we're looking for, that kind of support. Why? Because it impacts us all. Joshua said it earlier. We want elsewhere something else to do. They go to Grandview, they do the fishing, the boating, they ride. So I brought this up. Remember this? Cuyuna Range Remix. Could mountain biking and mining coexist? How's that make you feel? That was a meeting that happened right here, where Bladek, who was in the room, brought up the idea of reprocessing the tailings that these trails are on. Got a little heated. Caught a lot of people off guard. You were one of them.
Sorry.
I didn't go because I know I'd get a emotion. Vision. Hope for this area. We have a lot of sustainable economy for this area. But I want you to see what I saw 2 hours ago. And this is a resolution from Bladek, Rainier Lakes Area Economic Development Corporation, who brought up that idea of reprocessing. I want to read it. Now therefore be it resolved that the Brainerd Lakes Area Economic Development Corporation does hereby support the continued use of the land, overburden stockpiles, and mine lakes within the Cuyuna Country State Recreation Area for outdoor recreational use. How's that make Father Clunker? No, we're not done. There's another paragraph that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Further, we recognize the land and mine lakes within the Cuyuna Country State Recreation Area as a unique and valuable outdoor recreation economic asset for our entire region. The Brainerd Lakes Area Economic Development Corporation fully supports immediate and continued investments in the CCS opportunities for our community. Now applaud. This took all summer, and that's not a bad thing. All of us to work together as a community, counties together, nations together, and build the best possible area we live in. Because if I live here, I don't want to have to vacation somewhere else. So Sheila, who else is here from Bladek tonight? Mike, where's Burton? Paul, stand up. Chuck, thank you. So Bladek is the first economic development partner, and with Bladek, Sheila and I are going to go light up the night, right? Because our marching band just started. We giddy up. And we're going to go get community-wide support because we're going to need it. Because you don't get $6 million by smiling. I never have, at least. If I find a way, I'm going to do it. So thank you. Oh, wait, you got to see that. It's kind of funny. Whoa. Thank you, Bladek, from the bottom of our... Here again, Mike Van Abel. Whole staff. IMBA stepped up. IMBA hired Judy Erickson. Where's Judy? Stand up, Judy. Stand up, Joe. IMBA hired Judy and Joe to be our government affairs and communications specialists for the next 2 years as we go after $6 million in 2016. Judy has a track record. Do you remember what Judy kind of being involved in the first build? Pretty important, right? Like without Judy, pretty tough. Judy was also the one that got the money for the paved trail to bookend, as Shabak says. What do you think of Judy, Jenny? Is she all right? But just because she's great doesn't mean we believe that. This is a 50-50 shot. You either get it or you don't. But if we don't have the extreme partnership and support, get it. So rally, unite, come together. Anyone want to join? Nobody again. I can't believe it. What's with this, Jeff? So here's what we're after. Here's the bottom line. Because it comes down to money at some point, because nobody's going to give you any money because you smile and you want to put some dirt on the ground. Track, thanks to Andrew Hook, our economist. He took that cycling survey in his brain, which I fully trust, and I think Bladek does too, because he was one of your execs, and said the impact today in this region is right there, $2 million happening right now. When we build this whole thing, built by 2020, miracle, never going to happen. I like dreaming though. And when it's been built, and when the infrastructure locally, when we built the lodging, we got the microbrew, and we got the wood-fired pizza, we got to go get the wood-fired pizza. For me, if no one else. conservative, this is Andrew talking, not me. I'm the ad guy. Never only believe the Economist. And he said a conservative estimate of 21 million for our region. That's in real estate. That's in retail. That's in hospitality. That's what we do. And we want this to draw in people. We want this to make Graphic Packaging's job of recruiting easier. Magnum Machining's job of recruiting easier. We want people to have never, ever think about leaving these trails. We want people to vacation here and wish they lived here in a bigger way than they do today. That's what we're looking for. So 1 million. Go away. Because with this crew and with this board, status quo, and I hope none of you are either, we're not okay with just being okay. We want to go for it. We need your support to go for it. So is it possible? Can do. That's CRMC talk there. But CRMC was a small hospital that had to face, what should we do? And they came, and look what it is today. They were at the brinks of not even being around. And they had a can-do. And if you're a Ranger, you're smiling on the inside right now because you know what that means. And I was hoping Bill Bedard would be here because this is my closing statement. You know Bill, right? Tell him he always says this because he never does. I wanted to put him. Stand up, Bill. You want to say this for us? All right, Bill, here's what you always say for glory. I learned it from Bill. And what's rich about Bill, Earl was one of the pillars who made CRFC happen, which really made this community happen. And it's fun of that kind of talent. But that's what we have. We are the Cuyuna crew. We believe in cycling. Thank you for coming, and you're dismissed. Let's do this thing.